Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing. Today, my guest is from OCF in the UK. We have Jerry Dixon. Jerry is the Business Development Manager for HPC On Demand at the company. So, Jerry, welcome to the show today.
Hello, Rich. Thanks for inviting us along. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure, Jerry. So tell me more. Who is OCF and who do you help?
Okay, well, OCF are leading provider of high-performance computing, storage, and visualization solutions here in the UK. We've got well-established relationships with academia and research in the UK, and also across a wide area of industry. The company's been in business now for 10 years. So privately owned business, and we're developing with new technology, and most recently with the introduction of the HPC On Demand service, which we're going to talk about today. I thought it'd be useful, really, before we go into the details of the service, just to sort of outline some of the challenges that we're seeing out there in the market. And I don't know who coined the phrase, but some time ago somebody came up with the saying that to out-compute is to out-compete. And there's certainly, and particularly in the UK and Europe, an enormous emphasis on use of high-performance computing to develop superior design, simulations, virtual prototyping, data modelling, risk analysis, etc. But of course, that presents to many organisations some real challenges. Firstly, obviously, financial challenges, most obviously in the area of capital outlay. Capital is hard to come by, and do organisations want to direct that into the area of their own computing resource, which may quickly decline in value. But also in terms of maximising their returns on investment in software, staff resources, and so on. Now, access to HPC expertise is also another major issue that we come across, because managing HPC clusters is not a simple task, requires specific skills, and those skills aren't easy to come across. So we do find that organisations, particularly when it comes to Linux clusters, struggle significantly in that particular area. Then a major issue is data centre capacity and the associated power and cooling. We're coming across a number of organisations, particularly medium to large size organisations, who've really hit the ceiling when it comes to capacity within their data centres, and particularly around availability of power. So they're starting to look for alternative means of providing the HPC capacity that they're looking for. And also, it's particularly with the advance of technology, companies are always looking to access the latest in computing power, and obviously that then presents an issue as to whether to invest themselves or to utilise a service where they can access the very latest technology on a pay-as-you-go basis. So, really, the whole opportunity here is, I guess, very much in line with cloud computing in general. It's all about achieving more with less, and certainly the service that we've been pioneering over the last 12 months or so in the UK gives organisations the opportunity to do just that. Just the background, really, to the enCORE service, which is a HPC On Demand service. This was launched early in 2011, and essentially that was launched on very much on a pilot basis, and has been aimed initially at small to medium-sized enterprises. Now, we've enabled this service through a relationship that we have with UK Research Council, the Science and Technology Facilities Council, based at Daresbury in Cheshire in the UK, and commercial relationship with them whereby we utilise capacity on their system, and we present to the customers a complete commercial engagement, and all commercial and technical issues are dealt with by OCF. So that was quite a groundbreaking engagement that we set up some almost 12 months ago now, and has been successful in delivering services essentially to SMEs in the first few months of the service. It provides users with access to a bare metal Linux HPC cluster, and it provides a true pay-as-you-go service. Users just pay for services on a per core hour basis, plus a small annual subscription, and that's been delivering real business benefits to a number of users, and perhaps the most notable one would be a customer who actually was able to bid for and win a large consultancy project that he wouldn't have been able to deliver using his own in-house technology. He just didn't have the capacity, and that was quite a significant project for that customer, which happened to be running a simulation for a large wind farm. So that is just one example of the benefits that we've brought to a number of organisations. And I think that the thing to stress about the service is that customers have differing requirements for this service. They may use it just from time to time to cater for peaks in workload. They may use it just for specific projects, or they may choose to use it for all of their computing requirements and simulations. So we're very proud of the fact that we've developed a flexible service that can cater for those requirements, and that's what we continue to do and will do as the service scales up to a significantly larger cluster in the very near future. The enCORE service will move up to a cluster of several thousand cores, Intel Sandy Bridge cores, with access to several petabytes of storage, and this is due to go live in the next few weeks. Three of our users that perhaps just underline what I've been saying about the value and the flexibility of the service. I'll just give you a moment or two to read those comments. Just taking you through those particular users, Engis are a rapidly growing engineering consultancy based here in the UK and mainland Europe, who are engaged in some quite significant research and development projects, and they're also engaged in developing enhancements to open source engineering codes, particularly OpenFOAM CFD. Actiflow over in the Netherlands, and they're a engineering consultancy also, and BHR Group are a company based down in the south of England, involved in fluid engineering. I like this slide. This is, I hope you like the image here. But this is actually a CFD simulation of a Lola race car, which has been superimposed onto an actual Lola car racing in the Le Mans 24-hour race. So quite a stunning picture, I think. The applications that we have available to users on the service at the moment include a number of engineering applications, both open source, for example, OpenFOAM, Code Saturn, OpenTeleMac, and we also have users on there who have brought along their own codes to run, and we've assisted them in setting them up for optimum performance. And that's one thing that I would stress about this service. Running codes on HPC clusters is not as simple as perhaps some people would have you believe. And what we stress to our clients is that we're here to help them to do that. The in-depth expertise that we've built up over many years in this industry is available to users. So we're able to respond very quickly, help them set up their compute environment, whether that be installing scripts, compiling codes, and so on, providing them with ongoing assistance. We've also got users who are running commercial codes on and commercial applications on enCORE. To do that, they have to provide their own license. Typically, what we would do is point the system at their license server, and that's been successfully operated by a number of users and allowed them to get maximum efficiency and use of those licenses, whether they be using them in-house or whether they revert to the enCORE service for larger compute jobs. Security, obviously this is a very significant factor for many users, some of whom are developing business critical designs, R&D, and so on. And to use a remote compute facility requires them to be fully satisfied that the security is sufficient. Now, we only run on physical compute nodes, and those nodes are not shared with other users. So if a user's running a job on a node, even if he's only using half the cores in that node, he's got exclusive access to it. Access to the service and uploading of data is through encrypted SCP over SSH. Users can only access the service from a registered IP address. If they try to access it from anywhere else, they won't be able to. And there's obviously very close monitoring of that to ensure user identity. And I think another very important thing here is that to stress is that this is operated from a single UK location, so we can assure users 100% that their data is resident in only one location, and we can show them where it is here in the UK, unlike using other services such as Amazon, where that data could be anywhere in the cloud. We can nail down the location of this data to a single data hall up here in Cheshire in the UK. Just really reiterating what I was saying earlier about providing technical support and a user experience that makes users want to come back and use this service again. The cluster runs Platform Computing's HPC suite, which is an industry-leading package, and which is developing very quickly to provide additional features for cloud computing requirements, and that's one of the reasons that it was selected. Through that, we're able to provide advanced features, particularly around the user interface, billing. One of the issues that many users have is keeping track on their spend, so they can easily do that via the functions within Platform HPC. We have a very simple pricing model, really, with the deliberate avoidance of any sort of hidden add-ons. Users pay a very small subscription, essentially, to get them access to the service. And that gives them a user account and 500 gigabytes of storage. If they need any more storage, they can pay for that on a per terabyte basis. And then for compute, they just pay for that on a per core hour basis. There's no additional charges for data uploads and downloads, and that's a key feature of the service. So it's relatively easy for people to plan and budget for the service, and the rate that we charge customers depends really on the level of usage, because we're seeing demand from very small companies who just have occasional usage through to companies with significant requirements running into hundreds of thousands or millions of core hours. Obviously, the actual core hour rate depends on the usage levels, but we feel that it's competitive with other service offerings that are out there. Developments, in addition to improving the user interface and the functionality there, we're going to be introducing more industry-specific codes and working environments, an increased number of standard applications, and we're also looking to further develop relationships with ISVs, and we're in discussions with a number of them at the moment, with a view to providing them with a platform for a software as a service offering. We're particularly seeing interest in that from some newer, smaller ISVs who perhaps aren't tied to the traditional software licensing model that some of the major ISVs are, and they're looking to develop their businesses strictly around a software as a service offering, and we're expecting to sign such companies up over the coming months and use the enCORE service as a platform for that service offering. We're starting to provide consultancy services around the enCORE service. We're looking to, and are already engaged in some projects with customers around helping them to optimize their codes, and there's a sort of developing ecosystem really of organizations that we can engage with to offer a complete consultancy service, and on the capacity side, we see that expanding in the future, and also extending into more on the storage. We're seeing users who've got requirements for replicating quite significant data sets, and I think that will become a feature of the service as we progress towards 2013. So, on to the last slide. This gives contact details. I'm the prime contact for the service here, and you can see there the OCF website if you want to read a bit more about the service, what we offer, and also more about the OCF business itself. So that's a quick tour of the service. Rich, have you got any questions?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that, Jerry. So, yeah, a couple questions that I have in mind. The computer facility at Daresbury. Now, they're in the business of academia and research, right? So, do you have a financial arrangement with them, or are they donating cycles to boost industry in the UK?
Yes, the STFC Daresbury were successful in winning funding from the UK government through its e-infrastructure programme. And there's a very heavy focus in the UK now on promoting the use of high-performance computing to essentially make UK PLC more competitive. And that's resulted in what will be known as the Hartree Centre based here at Daresbury, and that's really focused on engagement with UK industry, UK businesses to help them to enhance their business, R&D, whatever it might be, through the use of high-performance computing. So that could be designing new generations of code, optimizing existing code, consultancy, and so on. So we're part of the ecosystem here at Daresbury, and along with IBM and STFC, Intel, and others. And really, the enCORE service is runs alongside that, and we have a commercial arrangement with STFC to provide access to the infrastructure, and then we turn that into a commercial offering. So the customers deal only with OCF, and I think it's important to stress that that is a commercial offering, and or the relationship with STFC is entirely down to OCF. That's not seen at all by the users. All their contact will be with us on a commercial and technical basis.
And does that arrangement allow you to give them, competitive pricing compared to maybe the other kinds of offerings out there for this type of service?
Yes. Yeah. We believe that for the service that we're offering is extremely competitive and good value for money. The access to the very latest technology, the step up in performance to the latest family bridge architecture, for many codes is probably going to deliver a 20% acceleration. So the users are going to see effectively a reduction in the real cost of completing those compute jobs, and we believe that it's an extremely attractive and competitive offering, but it's completely scalable, so it's suitable for the smallest company, and we've got users out there who are 2-3 man companies right through to multinational organizations.
Well, great, Jerry. So, just to characterize, the type of customers you work with, are they already familiar with moving their applications and running them in a clustered environment, and you just help them physically run it in another place, or do they need more hand-holding than that?
We see both, really, Rich. We've had some users there now who, for several months, who've had very little requirement for technical support, very competent users, and quite capable of getting on there and running jobs themselves. And we've had others who require quite an amount of hand-holding. That may be because they've submitted jobs through platform LSF. They may have used another job scheduler, so it's just been down to the job submission commands. And there have been sort of deeper involvements, really, with assisting users to get codes to run on a modern cluster as opposed to a small workstation. And so that's required some really quite in-depth technical engagement, and we've been successful, particularly in one case, of getting an application to scale up quite significantly, which the user hadn't been able to achieve previously.
Well, great. Well, Jerry, this looks like a terrific service for industry in the UK, and I'd like to thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Okay, Rich, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to bringing some good news about the development of the service in the coming months.
Terrific, terrific. Okay, well, great, Jerry. Okay, folks, that's it for the Rich Report. Stay tuned for more news and information on high-performance computing.